was it immediate that Monty Python became popular, or did it take some time?
No, it was very quick, actually. I mean, the very first show was disastrous because the people coming to see it, they saw Circus and they thought it was going to be some animals and some clowns, and they came and they were all sort of middle-aged ladies and people, just very nice people, and we started doing this stuff, and you could hear all of these jaws going clunk, clunk, and it was a very funny show because nothing was coming back from the audience. Anyway, we did it, and the BBC didn't know what to make of it because they hadn't seen anything like this before. I mean, there had been things before. Spike Milligan from the Goon Show had been doing things, but I don't know what it was about ours that it seemed to make a difference. I think quite possibly because I was doing animation, it looked different than other things. It had an element that wasn't, a texture that wasn't there in some of the other comedy shows. But after the fourth show, the BBC took it off the air. They didn't really like it, and they replaced us with the International Horse Show of the Year. But the great thing, in the middle of that program, we're watching horses growing, and people jumping, and in the middle of one of the things, they suddenly started playing this music as the horses were running. It was and it was our theme song, so we invaded the horse show somehow. But there seemed to be enough pressure from people out there. We'd gotten really good reviews, and there was just enough noise being made that they put it back on. And then it just kept going. It happened in the States again when finally the shows went out, which were years later. They finally got into America. And I remember in Iowa, they came on, and then they were pulled off, and 1,000 people started marching down the streets demanding that Monty Python be put back. And it was great because we had to do 13 shows in each episode, and literally there was no producer really, there was no director. There was a producer-director, but he had no influence on us, basically. The six of us did everything, and we wrote it all, we performed it, did the cartoons, and it was a very unique time, and it doesn't happen very often where you have that kind of freedom and no censorship, nobody saying, the audience won't like this, our ratings aren't high enough. And it gave us a chance to just experiment and develop. And one of the most important things was the fact we had to produce 30 minutes every week. And that was hard. So there was a lot of material that when we wrote it or read it, didn't really like, but we had to put it in the show to fill up the 30 minutes. And some of that proved to be the best material because it was the best material, that's all. But we didn't recognize that it was that good. And sometimes being forced to do things like that, not having total freedom, but because the restraints on us, if there was censorship, it was based on time. Time was our enemy in all of these things. And time was what we were always fighting against. The fact that we didn't have enough time and that we also had to fill up 30 minutes, which is a lot of time. And so somewhere in there, amazing things happen that wouldn't have happened otherwise. And then we could say, oh, that worked, so let's try some more. So it was a chance to really grow as you were doing it and experiment and take chances. And if it didn't work, the next week you were doing another show. So it didn't matter. It wasn't like a movie where if you fail at a movie, it takes a couple of years, 3 years or 4, I don't know, whatever, to get the next one going. So it was a good time to build up confidence, basically, or build up arrogance. We began to believe we were actually pretty good. And it just was very useful later on, because when people were saying you're doing shit, you say, no, we're very good, we're successful, don't worry.